Good morning, guys. How you doing? Welcome back. We got to check on this guy later from last night with the whole standoff. But I came across this story because I was scrolling YouTube and I see that they're just started a press conference. The mother, I guess her attorney and the husband or the boyfriend, and this thing is kind of going viral on the internet. I'm going to show you some video from the hospital that was taken and then her being wheeled out. And this happened in Indiana. I believe she's a Chicago woman, but this incident happened in Indiana in a hospital called Franciscan Health Crown Point in Northwest Indiana. And apparently these people now are made aware of it, and there's a lot of outrage. Let me show you the video. We'll watch it together, and then we'll watch the press conference that's happening now. We'll watch this together. It's like hard to believe because I wouldn't think any hospital could do this. Like if you're in active labor, an emergency type of thing, you need help right now. I don't know, were they asking her for a copay or something? Like, lady, you got to pay your copay? What? Let's see.
A Franciscan Crown Point being put out in active labor. So we gotta transfer her to a different hospital while she's in labor, in pain. I'm just...
So they're claiming the hospital had set up, I don't know, maybe this is a policy or something. According to initial reports, she was allegedly told she hadn't progressed past 3 centimeters, and she was sent away despite being in clear pain. Minutes after leaving, she delivered the baby in the family's car on the highway. That's crazy.
My daughter kicked out of this hospital and she's in active labor.
It's the paper in the bed, so you can do that. Let's see what kind of view you have.
Damn, so rolled right out of the hospital. Wow. Wow. I would have been pissed. I would have been really pissed. So apparently they're saying that a little bit after that she gave birth on the highway. And the reason she was in Indiana, according to CBS, is she was there visiting family. But the baby supposedly wasn't due for another couple of weeks. But, you know, as it happens, a lot of times babies are born earlier. You never really know. They tell you a certain day, but it could be earlier, on the day, or after. And they're claiming here it's 8 minutes after being discharged. And I realized with some of these hospitals too, man, it's like you really, really have to push for answers, you know, or whatever, because these people will send you away. They'll start giving you stuff, whatever. You really have to like speak up. And I don't know, but we'll see. I wonder if the hospital has any kind of defense. I think the CEO made a statement. Here's the full statement, and we'll get to the presser. The CEO, president, and CEO Raymond Grady says, "We are aware of the video and the concerns expressed on social media regarding the discharge of a pregnant patient from the hospital. We are grateful to learn from online and media reports that both mother and child reportedly are doing well. The video and the comments that's generated are deeply troubling, and we understand the concern this has raised. The video is just one part of the information We are reviewing as part of a thorough investigation into the alleged incident. While patient privacy laws make it difficult for us to comment more deeply, it is important to note that the videos and the narrative surrounding them do not accurately represent the hospital's healthcare ministry values. You got to throw ministries in there. The hospital, Crown Point's Catholic healthcare ministry values. You got to throw all that shit in there, which include respect for life, compassionate concern, and Christian stewardship. Oh, they're going the holy route. Our goal, I mean, it might really be a religious hospital, I guess, but still, even more, even that's even worse. You just threw her out there if that's what happened, but who knows? We'll have to see everything that comes out. Our goal is to make everyone who walks through the doors feel the love of Christ through our actions. The reality is disparities in healthcare outcome exist, and the hospital strives to be part of the solution, not the problem. We remain committed to meeting and exceeding all regulations and best practices for care. We will take appropriate action based on our findings. If it comes out they were wrong, somebody's going to have to take the fall. Somebody have to get fired. You know what's crazy too? Like, because I've been like spiraling down watching this YouTuber covering this true crime stuff, and he does it in like really short format. So I've gone through a lot of stories, and quite a bit of the stories, what was interesting to me, especially the ones where it was either the wife killed the husband or the husband killed the wife. A lot of these people, it's because of their religion. They don't believe in divorce. And they're cheating with somebody else. And the solution they come up with for religious reasons is to murder and kill the other person. To like, I don't know. I've seen quite a bit of stories like that. Anyway, okay, let's see what happened here. But we have to wait for all this stuff to come out too. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy to see this. Ray Williams Johnson, I think his name is. Huge OG YouTuber. I've just been nonstop for days. Yeah, Ray William Johnson, nonstop, just watching all the stories.
Hi, how are you? How you doing? Hello. Hi, how are you, sir? Thanks, everybody, for coming. I want to introduce you to Mr. and Mrs. Wells. And really want to give them an opportunity to speak to what transpired with them 2 days ago. Obviously, Ms. Wells was expecting her little one and was excited about that.
Yeah.
And want to have her talk about her pregnancy, what that was like, and what she was looking forward to prior to this whole situation happening.
I had a great pregnancy, actually. A lot of support. We were excited that we had another girl coming. However, once I started going in labor, things took a turn because it was, I started going in labor, I'm feeling all these pains. I'm calling to the nearest hospital at the time we're driving. Get to Franciscan, and I was met with really stern faces, like no welcoming faces as I usually would get when I go to, a hospital or a place of care. So I already had the feeling something wasn't quite right. When I did call ahead, the nurse said, okay, we'll go through ER and we'll see you when we get here. Got there, went through ER. They called upstairs to labor and delivery. And they came down maybe 15 minutes later to get me. I go upstairs, they roll me upstairs. They put me in a room that's not a labor and delivery room. So it was already like not a room that I was ready to actually deliver my child in. So I told them I was 10 minutes apart with my contractions. By the time I got upstairs, it was about 8 minutes apart, my contractions. The nurse came in, she said, okay, let me check you. She checked me 3 centimeters apart. Then she said, okay, I'm gonna check you again in about 2 hours, and if you haven't progressed, then we'll just send you home. So she already had it in her mind to send me home. I didn't think much of it because I'm like, I'm having this baby right now. I'm not going home. But she definitely was gonna make sure that she sent me home, because as soon as she came back, she's like, "Oh, how's it going?" I'm like, I was on a monitor. My contractions began to get closer. She told me, "Well, take a walk."
Damn.
I took a walk.
That is what they tell them to do. I think that is like normal, like the walk.
Contractions began to get to 6 centimeters, from 8 to 6, from 6 to 5.
I was gonna joke and say she just said walk it off, but they actually do, I think, tell them to do that.
All the way down to 1 shortly after. And I was in excruciating pain. She seen me in pain and agony. And I guess she still perceived me to not be in labor. Because upon returning to the room, she's like, "Well, if you're not further along in your centimeters, then, we gotta send you home." So I said, "I know I can't go home. I can't have this baby at home." It was hard to even deal with a person that was so no empathy. She didn't show any care as a usual nurse would. It was hard for me to even deal with that, but I couldn't focus on her. I'm just focusing on getting through the process of labor. It's hard to think about right now. I just don't understand how, as a licensed healthcare worker, you could turn someone to the door to leave that's in excruciating pain. It's essentially like I was stripped of my dignity. I was stripped of my dignity as a person because I was treated less than an animal.
I'm gonna check out that story, Janice, next. I read the headline.
I almost felt like she wanted me to suffer because as she watched me suffer, she understands. As a licensed nurse, you understand that there could be, labor is hard, very hard. Sometimes it could become fatal giving birth. And knowing that, she still pushed me out to an attempt of anything that could happen to me and my child. It could have been fatal.
I think one of the things that is super, super important that we keep in mind is that despite the fact that Ms. Wells was sharing with the nurse that she was having contractions at 1 minute apart and was in extreme pain, and as a prior mother was aware that she was in active labor and about to give birth, she was still turned away. And the basis for why she was sent away was that there were doctor's orders discharging her. The problem is that Ms. Wells never saw a doctor when she was being discharged. So how could a doctor give orders that never saw her? That's a concern for us. I know it's a concern for both of them. I think it's important that we talk about what that experience was like in just driving away from the hospital. Realize roughly 8 minutes after they were sent away, Mr. Wells had to pull to the side of the road and somehow give birth to his daughter. And I think you should speak to that.
It was God's grace. It's totally God's grace. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I don't have any medical license or anything to deliver a baby. I was just scared. I didn't know what to do. And literally seeing my baby's head. And we had to go in, and I started pushing. I kind of tugged and pulled a little bit, and baby came out. And just didn't know what to do. I just prayed and asked God for guidance. And it was just tough doing that time. And I'm just, now it's, the what ifs is kicking in, and my mind is not in the right space. Our mind is not in the right space because there's a lot of stuff could have happened to us and my wife and my child and me driving. It was just, it's sad.
And we're aware that Franciscan has elected to make a statement. And in the statement that they made, they state that because of their internal policies, they're not able to make a statement.
Right.
But we're not really looking for them to make a statement. We're not looking to try and have this. We're not looking to invade their investigation. But what we are really looking for is for them to take accountability. Can we agree that a woman that is in active labor shouldn't be sent away? Can we agree on that? Can we agree that a woman should not be deprived, or a person should not be deprived of health care just because of their gender or their race or their economic status? Can we agree on that? Can we agree that a woman in active labor should not be sent away without first being seen by a doctor? We should be able to agree on that. And Franciscan should be able to agree on that. This is something that should have never, ever happened. When they tell me about what they experienced, and it is abhorrent. This man literally was driving at 45, 50 miles an hour, and he sees his daughter's head emerging and doesn't know what to do. He should have never been in that situation.
Minutes away from the hospital, we pulled off, and this is what happened. As a medical professional, how can you send someone away that's in pain? Even that, just that alone should be enough. So, and I just couldn't imagine it happening to anyone, but experiencing it just shows me that it must be common. I know I wasn't the first person that this happened to. I seen it in Texas days before, and then it was happening to me. So I know it's happened for her, and it's gonna continue until everyone speaks up and advocates for each other, advocates for the problem, and take a stand to the situation, because we should not still be experiencing stuff like this in our country.
Mr. Wells, you were with her when she was being wheeled out at that time?
I was.
What did you say to the staff?
I couldn't say nothing, because if I would have said something, it would have been not the right thing. We trust God. So I told her, children of God, it's gonna be all right. That's why I was before that recording, she cried unbearably. Like, it was a cry that I couldn't imagine, pleading to this day. And I was so upset, but I didn't want me to get upset. I didn't want to show it. I want to remain calm for my family. And I was just rushing to get to the car so I could pull it up and get my wife to the nearest good hospital.
You've had other children. So did you explain to her that I know what this feels like? I've been through this before. I need help?
Absolutely. I told her it was my fourth child. It's my fourth girl, vaginally. So I've had children before. So she knew that. She knew that, as you have more children, naturally labor becomes more progressive. So it could go from 3 centimeters to 10 in a matter of a minute.
I was reading that too, that supposedly it's true. I mean, it's different for everybody, but because I was seeing here that like some people are admitted, or they regularly admit women that are just 1 to 2 centimeters if symptoms of labor are showing. It's not just how far you're dilated, they're saying it's the contractions, the pain, did the water break, medical complications. Maddie was brought in earlier than expected because her mother had preeclampsia, and so which is like high blood pressure, so they brought her in early. Let's see what else. I mean, the video that we saw, it looks like, I don't think she should have been kicked out. The video that we saw, I think they screwed up, unless there's something else to the story that's there.
And a lot of people know that, but this is what she does, but she didn't know that, or she didn't care which one, right? So it was on purpose. It's just she's in a field where she shouldn't be, because it's supposed to be where you have compassion. That's one of the number one things you're supposed to have as a nurse.
And I think too, though, the discharge, I thought maybe not, but I thought it's supposed to be approved by a doctor. So there has to be somebody else there, not just a nurse, but a doctor over her probably that signed off.
And then the doctor never showed her face, so I was never assessed by a doctor. It was just, you gotta go because the doctor said you're not in labor, because I told her you're not in labor, pretty much.
Have you been to this hospital before?
I had my 2-year-old.
To give birth there, or was
I knew the hospital I thought the hospital was a good hospital. I had my 2-year-old at the previous location there. And yeah, I didn't expect none of this. I thought it was a Christian-based facility, which they claim to be.
Christian. But
they didn't treat me with care at all. So it was totally different people, I guess. I don't know. We were surprised to be treated so horribly. Very surprised. Didn't expect it at all.
Given the statistics that are pretty widely known with Black women when they're going into labor, I know you were worried about your baby, but I'm curious if you were afraid for your own life at the same time.
Absolutely, because, we've heard of mothers dying giving birth. We've heard of the children not making it. So it could have gone anyway. And I wasn't being cared for by a professional. I was on my own with my husband to assist me. So, yeah, I would have never thought that I would be put out of a place that is paid to do this job and vowed to do this job, and stripping me of, pushing me out of their facility, stripping me of my dignity, not caring that I'm in agony. I couldn't believe it. Thinking back, I still can't believe it, that they did that to me. And everyone stood around to witness this, all the staff, and no one said a word.
Could you give us a timeline of when you arrived at the hospital, kind of what happened beforehand, just so we get a sense of how this kind of stretched over, how long you were at the hospital before they decided to basically kick you out?
Okay, well, overall, I was at the hospital for 6 hours. We got there at midnight. I went up, and I was in labor and delivery for maybe 5.5, almost 6 hours. So yeah, that's how long we were there. And by the time we had the baby, it was 6:28. So we walked out of the hospital at 6:20 in the morning, Sunday morning, and the baby came 8 minutes later.
Were you headed to community? Is that what you were headed to?
Once, we decided we're just going to leave, not try to stay, then yeah, we were headed to community.
Were you surprised that you hadn't seen a doctor in that 6 hour time?
I was, because I never had experienced that either. Going to the hospital, period, I was always assessed by a doctor. And since I'm in labor, I believe that, there should be a doctor in labor and delivery, right? No one came in the room, not a doctor. I never heard a doctor's voice. She said the doctor said, so I guess there was a doctor there, but I never seen a doctor.
How's the baby doing now?
She's good. She's doing good. Alina.
Mr. Wells, how are you feeling about after all of this? I mean, you had to be there to be the one to receive your daughter inside of that car, which I'm assuming is not something you expected to do.
No, not at all. It's a lot of emotions, a lot of mixed emotions. I'm grateful that she's here, she's fine. But who's to say, her being birthed.
So she was in the hospital for hours, I guess, is what they're saying, if I'm getting that right. And the hospital reportedly discharged her hours later after telling her she wasn't progressed far enough. Then she gave birth on the side of the road about 8 minutes after leaving. That time when she was a little kind of confusing. Just listen to
said, always a yeah, we were headed to the community. So 5.5,
Basically, how this kind of stretched over how long you were at the hospital before they decided to basically kick you out.
Okay, well, overall, I was at the hospital for 6 hours. We got there at midnight. I went up, and I was in labor and delivery for maybe 5.5, almost 6 hours. So yeah, that's how long we were there. And by the time we had the baby, it was 6:28. So we walked out of the hospital at 6:20 in the morning, Sunday morning, and the baby came 8 minutes later.
Were you headed to community? Is that what you were
Yeah.
headed to?
Once, we decided we're just going to leave, not try to stay, then yeah, we were headed to community.
Were you surprised that you hadn't seen a doctor in that 6 hour time?
I was, because I never had experienced that either. Going to the hospital, period, I was always assessed by a doctor. And since I'm in labor, I believe that, there should be a doctor in labor and delivery, right? No one came in the room, not a doctor. I never heard a doctor's voice. She said the doctor said, so I guess there was a doctor there, but I never seen a doctor.
How's the baby doing now?
She's good. She's doing good. Alina.
Mr. Wells, how are you feeling about after all of this? I mean, you had to be there to be the one to receive your daughter inside of that car, which I'm assuming is not something you expected.
No, not at all. It's a lot of emotions, a lot of mixed emotions. I'm grateful that she's here. She's fine. But who's to say, her being birthed the way she was, nothing perspires in the future. But I'm mentally messed up because as a husband, as a father, protector, I felt like I couldn't do nothing. Inside the hospital where proper things should have been done when the baby comes out. Like, my hands was unsanitary of holding the wheel of a car. Like, it wasn't right. It was not, I felt less than human. This should never happen. And even with the nurse, like she said, with the nurse staff, everybody looking.
Yeah, that's great.
The nurse that wheeled us down, we had 2 nurses and a security guard because they just knew we was going to just act up, And that wasn't our nurse. The nurse that kneeled us down. We didn't see our nurse after that.
Yeah.
After they discharged her, put the discharge papers on her legs, didn't even hand it to her, put it on her legs on the bed. After they did that, she just disappeared. But
Did you put yourself in the wheelchair? Did someone come in?
I had to ask for one. I'm like, can we even get a wheelchair? And they're like, oh yeah, I get a wheelchair for you. A couple minutes passed, and they got a wheelchair, and then.
For background, why did you choose that hospital? Was it the closest, I assume?
It was the closest hospital to us at the time, so yeah, that's why we went there.
Where do you all live?
We live in Illinois.
Don't.
Okay. Were you in Northwest Indiana?
At the time, yep. We was riding through because we had just came from somewhere, so yeah, we were right around there.
How close
So that's
did
why I
you
called them.
Yeah, when was your due date?
Due date was supposed to be November 29th.
Oh, good.
So I was 2 weeks away from 40 weeks pregnant. And so 38 weeks you could have a baby, which is more common.
Were you able to get in contact with your OBGYN in the 6 hours that you were there or not?
No, it was midnight, so I guess she wasn't on call, so.
What does accountability look like for the both of you? What does that mean?
At least a phone call from the hospital to say sorry.
To start off. I mean, that some type of justice, and a change for everybody, not just us and our family. For our whole community, like everybody, it needs to change because it's just not with pregnancies. It's other, things that happen to people. Come in the hospital and don't leave out. It's a change. That's the biggest thing to change.
Are you seeking some type of legal remedy for this?
So we're weighing all of the options that are available to them.
That means yes.
Accountability does look like a meeting with the family. We're calling for a meeting with the administrators at Franciscan. Accountability looks like making certain that the woman that made the decision to kick her out of this hospital doesn't work there anymore. She shouldn't work there anymore. Accountability looks like reviewing your protocols to determine whether or not in the future you're going to allow a woman in active labor to be removed from the hospital without first seeing a doctor. And there may be other things, but right now what we do know is that this is an endemic problem. It's happening all across the country. And frankly, in talking to Mr. and Mrs. Wells, they're grateful for having overcome it, but they're tired of it. And I know that they want to see changes there. So to the degree that they have the platform now that they didn't ask for, they are going to look to try and force some of these hospitals to reevaluate the way they do business.
Outside of the public statement, have you guys been in touch with the hospital since this experience?
No.
No, haven't heard from them at all. And again, I want you to analyze that statement. Their statement says we can't make a statement because of public policy reasons and HIPAA reasons and because of our own internal processes. They make the suggestion that somehow these folks are trying to invade their investigation or inhibit their investigation when their investigation centers around these folks. You know, when you make these platitudes, when you do this, it undercuts your credibility. And it's frustrating, and it's demeaning.
No, I think they're just using the HIPAA to cover themselves. They're using it to their advantage, just like CPS when they screw up and they're like, oh, well, you know, it's privacy, whatever, minor, so we can't speak on it. But they're definitely going to have to investigate because this is likely going to lead to a lawsuit, if not already, not in the process. They're going to have to defend themselves or settle, you know, I don't know.
And they don't deserve that. They didn't deserve to be accompanied by security as they're being kicked out of the hospital. How is that okay? That's not okay. It can't be okay.
Mrs. Wells, can you talk about, and even Mr. Wells, you touched on it, the discharge. What was the reason they were giving you that 8 minutes later you end up giving birth basically on the side of the road? You know, what were they telling you again?
The nurse said that I wasn't in active labor because I didn't progress.
Orders.
Oh yeah, and it was doctor's orders to be discharged because of that.
I'm just having a hard time conceiving of 1 minute apart, and how does that not have to labor?
So are we. I mean, the reality of it is that she is in absolute pain. She's having contractions as she's walking. 1 minute apart, she's telling the nurse that this is the case. She's a prior mother, so she knows what it's like. And as a result of that, she should have at least been given some sort of care. Instead, she's met with people saying, go, leave. And 8 minutes later, on the side of the road, this man has to give birth to his daughter. By the grace of God, it went well. Thank God it went well. What would have happened if it didn't?
Your daughter is Alina or Elena?
Alina.
Alina. You thought about when she's older how you'll talk about the story of how she came into this world?
I haven't thought about how to tell her about it, but when she finds out, wow.
I know that she should say she should know her parents are heroes. I know that.
Yeah.
I know that.
How are the older sisters doing?
They're good.
They're
They're
good.
good. They're grateful that everything's okay.
They're still worried about me and their dad.
Yeah. They know our mental is not right now. Not in a good space.
Have you ever experienced something like this before? Not necessarily as it relates to giving birth, but I mean, when dealing with medical professionals, was this a first for you? Was this?
Yeah, this is absolutely the first time this has happened to me. Yeah, to me. But I'm pretty sure it's common. Well, I've seen how common it is in the Black community, so I know that it happens often. I just never thought it would happen to me.
When did you know there was a problem, that sense that you got that this is not going right?
When they put me in triage and I told her that I was like actively in labor. And she walked in and said, well, I'm gonna check you in about 2.5 hours. If you haven't progressed, we're gonna send you home. Like, she began with that. That was one of the first sentences she said to me when she seen me when I went up, so.
And then they kept you because you were progressing.
Yeah, exactly. And she seen me with my contractions. She knew that I was having contractions with the monitor, so she seen the contractions back to back. So, I don't know.
And it was only one person checking on you the
Yeah.
entire time? And it was the same person, but they were not there when you were exiting the hospital?
Exactly. So once she gave me the discharge papers, I didn't see her again. Like when I came out in the nurses station, it was a group of them out there, and she wasn't anywhere to be found.
And I may have missed this. Did you ever go to labor and delivery, or did you?
Not a labor and delivery room, no. I was in a triage room.
After you delivered the baby, did you go to the other hospital, continue on to the other hospital to be checked out, or what happened after that?
Yeah, we got to community hospital and they greeted us with love. And yeah, they took care of us really well. They did.
And thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Do you mind if we get the spelling of everyone's name?
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Please go ahead.
Whose name?
Your name.
Just, yeah, just say it.
Mercedes Wells, Mercedes.
And your baby spelling of the name, Alina?
ALENA.
And then you just spelled the last name as well. Just
WELLS.
okay, Mr. Wells.
Leon Wells, LeonWells.
Okay. Thank you.
Cannon, CANNONLAMBERT, senior, and then Trevor Rogers.
Trevor Rogers, TREVOR, last name ROGERS.
We'll share with you.
How old you are? Sorry.
I'm 38.
38?
We'll share a picture of Elena with you in a few moments.
Who was taking the video inside the hospital? I presume you were taking the video inside the car. Who was taking the video inside the hospital when you were in the...
My mother.
Your mom was? Was mom in the car with you when everything was happening?
We drove in separate cars to the hospital.
And she was heading to the hospital as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Your mom had to be very upset as well, I imagine.
Yeah. That's why she pulled her camera out. Like, no, let's... Yeah.
Do you think if she did not do that, that you all would feel you have a strong case?
No.
Probably not, because our voices are not heard, even for pain and agony. So, yeah, it was important and probably the best thing to make sure that it was on video, because our word is clearly not enough.
All right.
Cannon, have you filed any court documents trying to get any internal documents and video from the hospital?
So the Wells family they understand that there is a long process ahead of us. And so we haven't filed anything yet because we are hoping to have conversations with Franciscan. We are hoping that they will come to the table and talk to them about the things that they are most interested in. They are interested in seeing policy changes. That's what my directive is to try and find a way to see something like that occur. Now, if that doesn't happen, then there's only one other method that we have, and that might be forced on us. But at this juncture, we know what happened. There's no seeing her walk around in video at the hospital for an hour isn't really of any consequence to us because we know what transpired. We know how they got treated. So there are certain things that we feel like we have a solid understanding of.
Cannon, lastly, can you just say the name of the law firm and your...
Oh, sure. Karchmar and Lambert. I'm one of the managing partners. If you all want to do this favor for me, if you want to give me your emails, I can, or your numbers, I can.
Hospital might not want to deal with this. You know, the public perception and everything that's going on. They might save them a lot of trouble, make it expedite everything if they just agree to some type of settlement.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
By the way, I was trying to get an update from that guy last night, the Cleveland, Tennessee standoff, and still nothing. I mean, I don't think it's still happening, but well, I don't know. Should I check? Let me double check. I don't think. Imagine this still going on. I'm not coming out. I'm not coming out. No, it's not up anymore. Will we ever find out what happened to that guy? The guy with all the guns outside of his house. So this situation, I don't know, man. On the surface, it's messed up. They have video. It seems like the hospital screwed up if she left 8 minutes after, but and had the baby. I don't know what their policy and procedure is. Maybe it needs to change. I mean, I'd be pissed if it was me, or my family or whatever. By the way, I mentioned last night that the House is voting today, or they're actually talking
across the country. And for the sake of millions of Americans and their health care, I urge my Republican colleagues to support this bill and vote no on the previous question. Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to insert the text of my amendment into the record along with any extraneous material immediately prior to the vote on the previous question. And
without objection. Gentleman reserved. Gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield 2 minutes to the distinguished gentleman from Utah, Mr. Owens.
Gentleman is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Chairwoman, for yielding. Mr. Speaker, after blatant obstruction and prolonged delay on the part of congressional Democrats for over 40 days, the House has returned to regular order. It's good to be back, and it's about time. Today, we're here to advance 8 separate measures that meet the demands of the American people and strengthen President Trump's successful America First agenda. My constituents voted for the dissolution of the Biden bureaucratic barrage and for the safety of their communities, from bolstering American energy dominance to uphold.
What happened to the Epstein stuff? Or is it a mix of a bunch of different things? Epstein. Oh, you sent me info on the Tennessee standoff? Okay, let's check it out. Maybe I could do a little update later. Oh, but after this too, by the way, after this, after the House votes, then the Senate has to vote. So it's not over, Still got a while to go. You sent me a PDF? What the? I don't know. I'm afraid to open this shit. Oh, okay. It's from the sheriff's office. I was like, what is this? Media release. Deputies safely resolve armed encounter stemming from mental health crisis. Okay. November 17, deputies from the Bradley County Sheriff's Office responded to a home in northeast Bradley County near the Urbane Road to assist paramedics with Bradley County EMS and firefighters with the Bradley County Fire Department on a medical call that turned into a mental health crisis where a subject became combative. When deputies arrived, the initial first responders had vacated the home due to the actions of the man they were trying to assist. A brief search of the man was conducted for the man in the nearby neighborhood with the help of Cleveland Police Department. The man returned to his home, and a BCSO drone was used to drop a cell phone. Oh, that's cool. So that a member of the Bradley County Sheriff's Office crisis negotiation team could speak with the man. The Cleveland Police Department also assisted with the use of a drone and additional personnel at the location. During the negotiations, the man fired shots at the drones being used to assist. A peaceful resolution was reached when the man eventually surrendered and was taken to a local hospital for treatment. All right. Thank you so much. So that's the update from last night with the standoff. I'll have to pin that comment in the live stream. That's the update on that. Let me see what else is going on. It's been quiet. I tell you, ever since I came back, for the most part, it's like been quiet, peaceful. While I was gone, It's chaos. All this news, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day, critical news. It's crazy. And then I get back and it's like, quiet. We're here watching the House vote. I do have a meeting later today. I have a little meeting and a doctor's appointment, but after that, I'll be available. Later on today in the afternoon, I have like a meeting and appointment, but after that, I'll be available for the night. Whatever goes down this evening or before that a little bit. Let's see what else on the thing. Jeffrey Epstein trending.
It's just funny how the news works. Because Bill Clinton, wrote a letter to, Jeffrey Epstein as well for his birthday, but nobody's talking about that. And Jeffrey Epstein had a picture of Bill Clinton in a dress and high heels, in his New York mansion, but nobody's talking about that. My thing is this. I don't care who's on the list. Everybody got to go. Burn it all down. That's just simple as that. Mutually assured destruction. Whoever's on that list need to go. Nobody needs to be protecting pedophiles. I don't care what party they are.
No, period. And, to that point, though, Clinton is not the president right now. If he was, you'd think that, anyways, yeah, I think he would still be under scrutiny if he was the president right now.
No, he wouldn't, because liberal media wouldn't push the issue.
Oh, okay.
It's just funny how the news works. Because Bill Clinton.
All right. Let's see what else is there. Anything going on? Well, the connection was smooth this morning. No problems, no hiccups. I'm happy about that. Thank you, Tornado. I really wanted to come on to kind of test the connection, and I was just scrolling and I saw this post about the lady that was gave birth in the car. But the setup I have now, I think I've fine-tuned it, unless it's just a good day. Got Comcast and Starlink working together, so I have this crazy setup for where I live, but it seems to be working for now. I don't want to jinx it. Let me see what else. Scroll. But I'm still trying to get back in the rhythm. I haven't really gotten back in the rhythm. It's just been so much I've had to kind of like deal with personally behind the scenes, all these doctor appointments, school stuff for the kid, all this shit. But we have to get back, man. I have to get back in the rhythm. NTSB is having they're having like this press meeting about this bridge that collapsed, the Baltimore's Key Bridge. They're having that. Doesn't look that interesting to me, but I did see that. It's been going now for, let's see, 2 hours, 3 hours? Thankfully, I didn't commit to doing that this morning. They're having some type of meeting or something, but yeah.
Speaker, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your leadership over the last 5 months to make sure that this bill came to the floor. Thank you also to Don Sisson for his leadership and understanding of all the rules to make this possible. Now, as we are here today, I saw on CNN that the president is meeting with the Saudi prince.
Oh, shit.
You know what America First means to me? How about meeting with the survivors?
Oh, shit.
How about making sure that America's girls are not being raped? That's what it means to be America First, not going and just meeting with Saudi princes. I am so honored to be here and working together with Congressman Thomas Massey, who's shown so much courage and principle, and I'm so honored to be here next to Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene and Congresswoman Nancy Mace. I was telling someone, they said, what did you learn through this process? I said, sometimes we have to see people not just through their caricature. And I had caricatures of Representative Greene and Representative Massey and Representative Mace. But what I saw is they cared as Americans and human beings. And they stood with courage. And they looked at this not from politics. They looked at this as what is right. And I'm proud today to be a member of Congress. I'm proud to work with them. And I'm proud of what we are showing this country is possible. That if we actually care about American values, maybe we can overcome some of the bitter divides in this country. If we don't care about just getting the credit and maybe work together, we could actually care about forgotten and abandoned Americans like the survivors that testified today. I was so moved by their testimony. How can you hear their testimony, as all of us have heard? See,
did they testify? Oh, I mean, they did a thing today? They were supposed to have a thing today, yeah.
To these chambers and we forget what happened of how we grew up. Most of us, we grew up, we went to barbecue, we went to Little League games. We went to church or temple. We didn't fly around in private jets and go to a rape island. We didn't buy off politicians and tell them to keep quiet. We didn't think that it was normal to abuse or rape young girls. And then they're saying, well, we don't know if they were 18 or 22. Come on, it's rotten. Then they say, well, just care about the price of eggs, just care about the price of health care. You know what's more important than that? American values. These rich, greedy men abused American values. They abused what's sacred about this country. They abused what built this country.
I yield the gentleman additional minute.
And it is time that they're going to have a reckoning. The Epstein class is going to go. And the reason they're going to go is because the progressive left and the MAGA right and everyone in between is finally waking up against this rotten system. And when people are united, when people work across the aisle, amazing things can happen because the American people are kind and good and decent. So it's an honor, Congressman Massey, to have worked with you, and I salute particularly the courage of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
So Trump is sitting down with the Saudi Arabian guy? Arabian night, like Arabian day.
Journalists, it's really painful to hear, anyone that been losing his life for, no real purpose or not in a legal way, and it's been painful for us in Saudi Arabia. We've did all the right steps of investigation, etc., in Saudi Arabia, and we've improved our system to be sure that nothing happened like that, and it's painful and it's a huge mistake, and we are doing our best that this doesn't happen again.
Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. The Crown Prince has been instrumental in helping lifting the sanctions on Syria. Will there be any joint investment between the U.S. and Syria? And will you visit Damascus?
Are you from Syria?
No, but
where are you from?
I'm from Palestine.
Oh, you're making a lot of progress, huh? Very good. Well, they like me. The Palestinians like me. The Palestinians are doing very well, actually. I think we're working very closely with a lot of people to make everybody happy, including Israel, the Palestinians, and everybody. That's very interesting. No, I think that I will tell you, the Crown Prince called me, and he specifically asked me if I would lift the sanctions on Syria, because he wants to see Syria make it. As you know, the leader of Syria was just here, and we had a great meeting, and he's a strong guy, and I guess you need a strong person to run it. And I think Syria's made tremendous progress. We did lift the sanctions at the request of the Crown Prince. Also, the president of Turkey, Erdogan, called me specifically. He said, if you don't lift the sanctions, Syria doesn't have a chance. If you do, they have a very good chance. And between the two of them and some others, I lifted the sanctions. And the results so far have been pretty good.
Mr. President, can I ask you a question about the F-35s that are being sold to Saudi Arabia? Are these the same ones that are being used by the Israeli military? And if so, how does that allow for the qualitative military edge for Israel? And then I want to ask you, because you brought up the plight of the Palestinians, are you aware of relocation flights to South Africa that are taking place right now?
Which flights?
There are relocation flights that are taking place. Some Palestinians are being charged up to $2,000
I'm not going to South Africa for the G20 because I think their policies on the extermination of people are unacceptable. So I'm not going, so I won't refer to anything having to do with South Africa. South Africa has behaved extremely badly. But I will say that when you look at the F-35, and you're asking me, is it the same? I think it's going to be pretty similar, yeah. You know,
How will that
this is a great ally, and Israel's a great ally. And I know they'd like you to get planes of reduced caliber. I don't think that makes you too happy. They've been a great ally. Israel's been a great ally. And we're looking at that exactly right now. But as far as I'm concerned, I think they are both at a level where they should get top of the line. Yes, please.
Can I just quickly ask for the ground?
I wonder if the body language people will look at this guy's hands and be like, think he's nervous or something? Oh, I don't know. What am I doing?
If I could just ask about the direct talks between
That's all right. I'll see you for a second.
Yeah, I'm just...
Have you reached an agreement on a U.S.-Saudi defense treaty today? And are you going to bring up the Abraham Accords in your discussion?
I already brought them up.
What did you say?
I think I got a positive response. Would you like to respond?
Yeah, so
Yes.
definitely we believe having a good relation with all Middle Eastern countries is a good thing, and we want to be part of the Ibrahim Accord, but we want also to be sure that we secure a clear path of two-state
You can't touch the prince?
solution. And today we have a healthy discussion with Mr. President that we're going to work on that to be sure that we can prepare the right situation as soon as possible to have that.
I think we're, you know, I don't want to use the word commitment, but we've had a very good talk on the Abraham Accords. We talked about one state, two state. You know, we talked about a lot of things in a short period of time. We'll be discussing it further too. But I think you have a very good feeling toward the Abraham Accords.
Yes, definitely, Mr. President. We want peace for the Israelis. We want peace for the Palestinians. We want them to coexist peacefully in the region. And we will do our best to reach that day.
And the defense agreement, have you reached agreement on that?
We pretty much have.
Where was it sent? To my email?
Question for the Crown Prince, if I could just finish.
We have reached agreement on that. Okay.
I wanted to ask you about the direct talks between the United States and Iran. Have you been fully briefed on that, and are you concerned at all about how this might impact Saudi security interests?
Well, we are close ally. We'll be working closely together on that issue, and we will do our best to help to reach a deal between the United States of America and Iran. And we believe it's good for Iran's future to have a good deal that will satisfy the region and the world and the United States of America. So we will do our best to see that day happen.
And by the way, Iran does want to make a deal. I can say I think they very badly want to make a deal. I am totally open to it, and we're talking to them, and we start a process. But it would be a nice thing to have a deal with Iran, and we could have done it before the war, but that didn't work out. And something will happen there, I think. But they would very much like, I mean, they may say something else, but they would very much like to have a deal.
Mr. President, you announced that you are going to sell 35 F-35 jets. You are planning. You said you are planning to sell the F-35 jets to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Is it part of the security agreement? And how you assess the defense partnership between Saudi Arabia and the United States? And the question for
Well, I just said it, though. I mean, we're going to sell them F-35s. That's the end of the question, I guess.
Is it part of the security agreement or no?
No, we're going to have a deal. They're going to purchase F-35s. They're buying them from Lockheed, and it's a great plane. We make, by the way, the best military equipment. You saw that during the Iran little skirmish. We make the best planes, the best missiles. We make the best offensive missiles. We make the best military equipment in the world.
Nice. For His Royal Highness, I would like to ask you about how you see the cooperation between the United States and Saudi Arabia in the advanced technological field.
Oh, I got it. I see. Thank you.
And how it will support Saudi Arabia to serve its goal to achieve the vision of 2030.
Well, I will try to answer that in short.
Oh, interesting.
There's many industry between Saudi Arabia and America.
This is interesting. Oh, I mean, we're just looking at a wall here, but still interesting. I guess they changed their camera angle. Maybe we can start another little stream. Let me just set this up.
With the lack of workforce that we have, we need to use a lot of computing power to replace job in the long term. So that's huge demand in Saudi Arabia, and we want to link it to
Oh, nice. Okay, I found the article. Let's do it. Let's do it, man. Let's bounce around a little bit, baby.
From America. So there's a lot of opportunities in that area.
And we're also involved in AI in Saudi Arabia. So we're working, and we're leading by a lot on AI. Actually a lot. China would be in second place, but we're leading by a lot. And I have to say this, and our relationship with China has been very good. And as far as
it's crazy.
buying our farm products, they're pretty much on schedule, Scott. I'd like you to call them, say if they could speed it up, it would be good. Okay, but they're pretty much on schedule.
I'm sorry, Media, please. If I may, I have a question for both the Crown Prince and President.
Who are you?
Faisal Abbas from Arab News, Saudi Arabia, Your Excellency.
It should be a friendly question.
Your Royal Highness, just picking up on something you've just mentioned about how some people try to destroy the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the United States. Perhaps, since the launch of the vision, we've been used to having the bigger picture and that everything fits into the bigger picture. Might you want to elaborate a little bit about where is the relationship, the bilateral relationship, the strategic partnership between Saudi Arabia and the United States heading, and what's the big picture there?
Well, I don't think it's a relation that we can replace it from the Saudi side or the American side. It's a critical relationship for our political attempt, for our economical attempt, for our security, for
Oh, this is interesting. I see you.
For many things.
I think.
It has been there for 9 decades, and the opportunities that we have today, it's huge, and seems that it's going to get deeper in the next few decades. And what we are having today and tomorrow with President Trump, it's really a huge new chapter in this relation that will add value to both of us.
This is America
When you think about it,
first.
I'm just sitting here. You're with the future king, a man who's respected by everybody, a man that doesn't have to be doing this, really. I don't have to be doing it either. And yet we're sitting here taking questions, we didn't say, oh, you can't talk about this. And there's never been transparency like this, even in his country, but there's never been, in our country,
What was
that's
that?
been acknowledged. But we didn't put restrictions, and I'm saying it's sort
It's
of
malfunctioning.
wonderful
It's a glitch.
to be taking questions from all over the world. Everybody's here. This is just a small group representative of tremendous numbers of media that are outside, that are very jealous that these people were so selected. But they're representing a lot of people that are outside. I think it's terrific that we could be sitting here being this open, and, I think it's really a wonderful thing.
If you don't mind, I have a personal question for you.
Okay, here we go.
So apart from everything you mentioned in your opening remarks, you forgot to mention that you've de-escalated 7 wars since you started. At least in our part of the world, you are seen as a peacemaker. And adding that to all the executive orders and everything else you've mentioned, I really have to wonder, in your speech in Saudi Arabia, I was there, you said that His Royal Highness does not sleep at night thinking how he does things better. We wonder in Saudi Arabia, how do you manage your own time, and what's your formula for managing?
He does not sleep much, and I don't sleep much. I think we have the same schedule. We're thinking about our countries. And if you sleep a lot and you're president, we just had one that slept more than any president. He broke every record. He sleeps all the time, during the day, during the night, on the beach. The only guy could fall asleep on the beach with the press watching. No, he's not a sleeper. I'm not a sleeper. We don't. We talk at night. We can talk. I can call him almost any time. He goes, hi, how you doing? It's like the craziest times. But now, when you love your job, when you love your country, and when you're in a position like we are, future king, highly respected, crown prince, and in my case, president, you're thinking about your country. You're thinking about making America great again. We're thinking about keeping Saudi Arabia strong and vital, and in a pretty tough part of the world, tricky part, right? Tricky part, a lot of tricky people. But he thinks about his country, and I think about my country. I don't want to sleep.
President Trump, do you expect a formal civil nuclear deal to be reached soon? Can you talk to us about that aspect
With
of
who?
with Saudi Arabia?
I can see that happening.
Do you think that an agreement will happen today?
It's not urgent. It's always when you have civil nuclear, but you have more oil than almost anybody else. We actually have more oil and gas than they do, but I refuse to say that.
And
We have more than anybody. Can you imagine?
And on the F-35s, are those sales? Israel had reportedly wanted those sales to be conditioned on Saudi Arabia moving to normalized
Israel
relations.
will be happy. Israel is going to be
Is that a
happy.
condition of the F-35?
Israel's aware, and they're going to be very happy. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, please. Hello.
Hi, hello. My name is Aman Hazani from Sharq al-Awsat newspaper, from Riyadh, of course. I have a question for the Crown Prince and for you, Mr. President. Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, how much you expected from developing the cooperation with the United States in the field of new energy, AI, supply chain? How much you expected from that?
No limit. We just continue pushing forward. There's no limit. So we just push forward for all the opportunities that we have.
This is, you have to understand, this is really a great ally. Just the fact that they're now doing, I came in here at 6, I did not know that. I was pushing for the 1 trillion, but he didn't tell me that. Now he told me. This is a great ally of ours. You know, when you invest $1 trillion, that's national security for us too, because it creates jobs, it creates a lot of things. And I would say, Scott, right, when you hear one country is putting $1 trillion into the United States, that creates national security. And, you know, I think that they don't have to say that, but I think a big part of that is also the fact that tariffs are in play. But even beyond tariffs, that's a real ally that will do that. It creates a lot of power for the United States.
We are also in Saudi Arabia very happy. Much of Saudi money is functioning come back for us for benefits. So it's complementary interest. So this is the I think what's the different the friends and ally do.
Well, look, I love the country of Saudi Arabia. I know the people very well. The level of treatment that we go when we go to Saudi Arabia is something that is incredible. And the people like us, and I think they really like America, especially when I'm president. I mean, I don't think they liked America so much maybe for 4 years recently. I think Obama treated Saudi Arabia very, very badly, as you know. And I think Biden didn't have any idea where the hell he was. So I don't think Biden knew the difference.
How would you describe the future relationship with Saudi Arabia? I mean, from the strategic aspects. How would you describe that?
The relationship is with?
Yeah,
I would say top of the line. It's as good as it can. I don't think it can get much better.
Okay, I'm going to transfer you guys. Let's check out this raid, possible human trafficking raid at this hotel. We're going to watch that feed from the start. They're not that. Let me see. Yeah, let's watch from the beginning because I want to see what happened. We'll talk about the story. It looks really interesting at the start. But I'm going to transfer you right now. Okay. BRB, be right back. Let's go. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Arabian night, like Arabian day. Arabian night, Arabian day, Arabian night. Oh, oops.